If you're someone who transfers a lot of files to and from your computer, there's a good chance you've used something like one of these, or something like this, or even had to plug in one of these external hard drives to your computer. As great as they are, they're kind of annoying to plug and unplug from your computer, and half of the time you end up losing them or can't find where you put them. And I'll be honest, I have a soft spot in my heart for things like internal ports on your computer, which is exactly why I picked up this Kingwin memory card USB 3.0 reader. Now, it's not the fastest reader in the world, but it definitely beats what I currently have installed, which is this really old USB, I don't know, 2.0 memory card reader. Now, there is a massive benefit of going from a USB 2 to a USB 3.0, but there are some differences between the various generations of USB 3. There's USB 3.1, 3.2, 3.2 Gen 2. So in theory, a USB 3.0 should get you 5 gigabits per second, which would be perfect for something like this SanDisk SSD, which I believe writes and reads at around 700 megabytes per second. Don't quote me on that one. Now, I did just do some tests with that SSD using the front port on that memory card reader, and here's what I ended up getting. I got a grand total of 40 megabytes read and write per second. That is absolutely painful, and I'm hoping when we change this out, we can boost that to around 10 times that speed. Now, for anyone who's curious, this is the computer case I'm currently running. It's one of the Fractal design cases. I really like it because it's minimalist, and you can just open it like that, and then all of a sudden you can see your card reader. You'll have to excuse the massive mess of cables. There are cables here for my NAS, for my backup power system, for all the monitors up top. And I try to keep it pretty clean, but as you can see, it's gotten a little out of hand. So the dust is mostly gone, and if you are at all curious what I use to edit and shoot and do everything on, it's actually this AMD processor. I can't remember exactly which one it is. You can see the motherboard there, and I think the USB header is right there. So that should be a 10 gigabit per second USB 3.0. It's still a little bit dusty. So we're gonna unplug that one and use that one to plug in the memory card reader. I will just add that the memory card reader we bought is not actually a 10 gigabit per second memory card reader. The only one I could find was this guy, which was a 5 gigabits per second, at least on the USB 3 ports. I'm not sure about the memory card slots, so we'll actually have to try that and see what results we get. There's dust on the lens. You know, I can just hear half of you screaming through the computer screen right now at my lack of cable management. I'm okay with that. I am totally okay with that. Okay, so all of that is installed, and you may have noticed I did one extra thing. I took my network switch and Velcroed it to the underside of my desk so it's nice and tidy. And I just used some adhesive Velcro as well as some stickies I had lying around. So let's jump in and see if the new memory card reader is faster than the old one. There are 3 different methods I want to try here. The first is going to be a V90 SSD card to see if the card reader can hit a max speed. I'm also going to try one of these USB connected SSD drives, which should reach the theoretical 5 gigabits per second. And then the last one, I'm going to try a USB-C connected memory card reader that reads these CF Express Type B cards, because that's what my R5 uses, and I really am curious to see if I can get any faster write and read speeds out of these memory cards compared to what I had before. All right, so the read and write speed on the SD card reader on this memory card reader is terrible. It's actually worse than what I was getting on my old reader. I might need to try this with the dedicated card reader plugged into the USB 3 ports. All right, so this test was way better. We're getting 500 read, 500 write. That's what we want to be seeing. Next test, this SanDisk SSD, and we're gonna plug it actually into the USB-C to see how fast that is. All right, so this SSD, still good performance, but not quite as fast at around 466, which is still good enough to edit directly off of. If you have 4K 60 frames a second, no problem, you should be editing all day long. I find it really interesting that even though this is advertised as a USB 3.0 card reader, it's only really the USB slots that are 3.0. The memory card portion of it is actually really slow. In fact, I wouldn't recommend it to be used as a memory card reader. You're way better off going with a dedicated USB-C or a USB 3.0 memory card reader and then plugging that in to get the high speeds. In fact, it's like 10 times as fast, 20 times as fast if you use the dedicated USB slots. So don't invest in one of these things as a memory card reader. Invest in it as a USB port with the convenience if you ever really need to read weird memory cards, then you have those slots already built into your computer. Last test, we're gonna take this memory card reader for CF Express cards and plug that in and see how fast this reads. Pretty much the same results. 400 to 500 megabytes per second is pretty well the standard speed, whether I'm using the 3.0 or the USB-C ports. In that case, that's a massive improvement over this old crappy memory card reader that I was using. The only thing about it though is that if you can get one that has just all USB ports on the front, all USB 3.0 or 3.1 or 3.2 ports, then that way you'd be getting the most speed and the most bang for your buck. I felt like this test was pretty fun, but now we have a massive mess to clean up.